macOS 26.4.1 is officially available with a number of minor changes, and in this video I'm simply going to be telling you everything that you need to know about this new software update. In order for you to see this software update, you will need to go into your settings, general, and then software update. If you have beta updates on, go to the info tab and make sure that the beta updates is turned off. Once you do this, click done and then check for a software update. If you are on the previous public release version of macOS, which is 26.4, you will then see a software update that's going to be macOS 26.4.1. If you are enrolled in the developer beta or public beta testing program and you are updated to the latest publicly available macOS beta, then unfortunately you won't see this update since you most likely be on this update, macOS 26.5, and since this is a higher version number of OS, you won't see macOS 26.4.1. Let's look at the software changes introduced with this update. So you can see 26.4.1, and to see the current build number, if you click on the version right here, you see the build number 25E253. So that's the current latest build. According to the release notes of macOS 26.4.1, it simply mentions that it's here to address some bugs and security concerns, but the main reason why Apple released this update is to address an issue that caused some M5 MacBook Air, the M5 Pro MacBook Pro, and M5 Max MacBook Pro models to fail to join 802.1x Wi-Fi networks when using content filter extensions. This type of standard is mainly used in enterprise, so by businesses, schools, universities, colleges, among others. So if you had content filter extensions on and you try to use your district credentials to log into your Wi-Fi network, it wouldn't connect. But now after you update to this macOS 26.4.1, that issue should be gone and your connection should be good. Another slight change introduced by this update has to do with the shadow that would cover the whole screen when you would access your control center or perhaps your notification and widget center. There used to be a shadow that would cover the whole screen. For the notifications, it was done away with macOS 26.4, but it was sort of remaining when it comes to the control center. But you can see when you access it, it is there a tiny bit, but it's been improved and it doesn't cover the whole screen. And now you can see also when you access your notifications and widget center, it's there, but it's in this corner that's covered by just the widgets and notification. It doesn't really affect the rest of the screen of the OS. So I think this is how the OS is supposed to be, and the animation is supposed to animate in and out when you access your control center or your notification center. Before updating to this version of macOS, I could go into my app section and search for any specific app and click enter and it will show me the app. But after updating, you can see when I search, for example, for music, it doesn't show up. Podcast doesn't show up as well. So it seems to have brought back an issue that was existing for me when it comes to the app section where I'm unable to search for individual apps. So now I just have to find them manually or find a workaround that will work with it. So hopefully Apple addresses this issue. In the podcast app, this is one of the podcasts that Apple showed off when they were mentioning the video input for podcast, where you had the ability to switch between audio and video simultaneously, and this transition was pretty smooth. But I looked into the settings and into the different parts of the OS. I can't see any option for macOS that will enable me to be able to view the video podcast signal, although it works on iPhone with iOS 26.4.1, but for Mac it doesn't seem to be functional yet. And this is the exact podcast that I'm able to view video feed on the iPhone. Alongside this update, Apple also updated the Apple TV apps version to version 2.4.1 for Android devices. So you can always go into your Play Store and update your current Apple TV apps version. There's also other updates released alongside this macOS version pertaining to the Apple Creator Studio. So a ton of apps received updates. For example, you can see Final Cut Pro received an update. You have Pixelmator Pro, Compressor Motion, Final Cut Camera, among others. Make sure you you update your apps to get the latest bug fixes and features that have been introduced for the Apple Studio Creator Bundle. Yesterday, Apple released iOS and iPadOS 26.4.1, and those updates fixed an important issue that pertained to iCloud. There was a bug that could prevent data from synchronizing properly, and that issue affected both Apple's apps and third-party applications. So that was fixed for those devices, and the same change also carries over when it comes to macOS with macOS 26.4.1. After I had updated my Mac to this version of macOS, I used and closed an app that relies on Rosetta, and after closing the app, it left this ghost shadow window that looks like this. I couldn't get the shadow to go away. I had to restart the Mac or power cycle the device in order for the window to go. So hopefully you don't have similar issues when you open apps that rely on Rosetta. Looking at the Apple security release right here, you can see when it comes to macOS 26.4.1, it mentions that this update has no published CVE entries or common vulnerabilities and exposures. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there are no security updates. Sometimes what Apple does is to delay releasing the notes to allow ample time for more users to update for those specific security reasons, and then after some time they'll release the security updates and you can go in and view. So keep an eye out on this page when it comes to what specific security patches Apple has fixed when it comes to macOS 26.4.1. In terms of whether you should update your Mac to macOS 26.4.1, most users that I've seen that have updated to this version is actually not by choice. It's because they bought like the MacBook Neo or the M5 MacBook Air or MacBook Pro, and those devices came already with macOS 26 pre-installed. So if you want to download to an older version, then you need an external SSD and the whole process gets a little bit complicated. So if you have issues that you are experiencing on your new Mac and you are hoping to get those issues resolved, whether it's a MacBook Neo or MacBook Air or Pro, then this version of macOS might fix that issue. I think with macOS 26.4, Apple sort of fixed most of the bugs and issues that were affecting macOS Tahoe or macOS 26 itself, and I think it got better for me, at least in my experience, since I do a lot of macOS beta testing and software testing. I think 26.4 was the update that really fixed most of the bugs and issues and sort of polished macOS Tahoe itself. For my specific device, the M1 Pro, the update size came in at 2.24 gigs and I was updating from macOS 26.4. If you're updating from an older version of macOS, worse if you're updating from a version that's not macOS 26, then you're going to see a big update size. It's most likely going to be around 8 to 12 gigs. And then going into settings just to see the storage being taken up by macOS, you can see it right there and the build number as well. So Apple Intelligence is 14.81 gigs. It used to average between 11 to 12 gigs, so it's increased on average by about 2.5 gigs. And you can also see my system data now. This does change depending on what I have in my cache and what projects are there. So this is mainly your main concern right here, but when you update to a new version of macOS, it simply overrides the existing memory and storage that was being taken up by the previous OS and makes it more current. With regards to Geekbench score performance, this is 26.4.1 and I'm comparing it to a previous double pointed update that I did a video on. So you can see for single core, it's pretty much higher, 2439 as compared to 2366. Multi-core, you can also see it right there. It's slightly higher, about 800 or so higher. So it's doing pretty good. And when I do different tasks or run different apps, it opens and closes them as intended. The only thing I notice is that yes, the apps window is sometimes very delayed, and when I search for apps, it actually doesn't show them up. So I will try see if there's a workaround for this, but other than that, that's how this update came in for me. If you like this video and you want to see more macOS content, definitely do follow for more.